Welcome to Driven by Me and Discipline. Today we will continue the PCG. Uh, let's start with test on the chat. Okay. That's what background music. Next. Some full screen, white full screen, white full screen. How does it look? All my other screens are white full screen. I don't need it because now I'm far away in the back. I don't like the green screen in my ear. I really should put some black stuff. Because back in the first episode I used the green screen and filtered the green on OBS, but now I'm using NVIDIA broadcasting background removal, which doesn't need a green screen. I could remove the rest with the OBS, but it uses GPU, I think. I want to save some PCG. Let's open the project. Now I want to go over what I'm doing, because sometimes you get lost into your code logic and you have to do a drawing. You have to put your thoughts into paper to understand them, because if it stays in your mind, you cannot solve them easily. My tablet is the back. This tablet was given to me by a friend, one of my best friend, childhood friend. Mark. It broke. One day I dropped it from my desk and it broke the plug. I thought it was over for a long time, like I put it away for a couple of years, like 5 years. And not long ago I have another Wacom, a smaller Wacom, which is not as good with the sensitivity, but I didn't want to use it. I did plug this old one back, hoping I could solve the issue, like open it and solder the broken stuff. But it happens that this tablet has 2 plugs for the power, and I tried the other plug and it worked. So I think I think it was over, but not over. I think I tried it the first time it broke, and I thought to myself, I don't want to use this secondary plug because it's in the it's for I think it's for left-handed, so it's in the way of my hand. But if I place my hand like above the tablet, it's not that of a problem. So what occurs now? We need to elaborate what occurs. So in my loop, what I want to do is that I have a roof, the first story of the roof. I want to set the second story, which can be a different height, like that, and the third can be a different height, but currently it's the same as the small one as below. But it could be like a tall above, small in the center. And does it work if I do like in Photoshop? Oh, oops. And a large one, it could be like that: large, small, large, or small. It could be I could be wanting a new mesh which would be medium, or anything else like flat. But currently that's what I got. I also have none, which will be flat. Another flat would be like just flat like that, but that's boring. That's the wall. So what can happen also is there is more than 3 stories, and that would be like something that could, just so I have more than one case scenario. My tall, large, tall in my naming convention. Okay, so I loop over them. The issue is this: the first one is at 0. So it doesn't need any. In the first loop, it doesn't need to put the Z. So in Unreal, you have the depth and the width, but it's X and Y. I don't remember which one is north, but that's not important for us right now, because what we want to adjust is the Z, is going up. And so the Z, we already put the walls to them, the walls that are below, so it's as if it starts to 0. It's as if it's like depending on the number of wall. It's since we already calculate them in the nodes up before. It's as if it always starts to 0. So we don't need to adjust the Z for the first one, because it's already to 0. If we don't adjust the Z at all, they all overlap. Like the 2 above overlaps, they stay at 0. So in the next loop, like the 0, the first loop, which is 0 in arithmetic, computer arithmetic. The first loop, but not in computer arithmetic, it's just wonder why it's just in PCB and a for loop. I don't know what is the incrementation, but it's as we saw in PCG, it's always start with index $sign index, which is as the value 0 assigned to it. So it's 0, and the 0 is the first floor there, which is this one. 1. When we get to the ignore, don't need to modify the Z. But the second one, we need, and sometime now I have one large here. Sometime it could be large, sometime it could be so we want to know this position. Sometimes it's the height of a small, sometimes it's the height of a large. It could be another one when I want to add a new mesh. So we want to pick, since we are here at the second index, which is 1. 1 is 0. First index is 0, first, second index 1. So when we are at 1, 1, we want to take the previous index height. Get previous X. T to my H. Okay. So when we get the height and we apply height of previous index. On the of current mesh, which is this mesh, this or this. So the second index, the third loop, which would be the index 2. The third loop, same thing, same. This is a quotation to say it's the same as above, and same as above, and depending on if it's not the last, depending if not last, or it would be in, because or, which is sometimes written as 2 lines like that. In some language you can use both, if not last or not first, because first, as we saw, is ignored. Last, which is we don't know what the index would be. It could be more than 3 height, less than 3 height, 3 story height. So the last index. Or so both of them should be, which I didn't do last time. Ignore. And anything in between that could be added would have this logic applied to it. Except that's not really true, because the last index needs to be moved up there. So that might be the issue I got last time. I thought I should ignore. Why? Because I had an index this of get previous index height. Yeah, I added instead of subtracting. Let's try this again then. Remove this again. It would be so much easier with normal for loop, but PCG is and I sometimes get lost in for loop. I'm not used to them, even though I did it a lot. Did them a lot. Just to have them in another way exercise my for loop experience. Especially that the PCG is not like a usual for loop. Should have made I've made some training or something in PCG. Wonder if there is a course in Epic. Epic does some tutorials. The thing is that I often say you should do programming not by memorizing everything, but you need the basis sometimes. Of course, you need the basis, the rudimental basis, which help. Epic tutorial PCG. The beginning of all PCG, they have some stuff, it seems, on their documentation. And here you have some explanation. But the thing with this is that you need to do exercise. You cannot just read this and you're fine. You need to apply it and understand what is what, which I didn't do. I should check some eventually. Check some help like that. I would like to find a course or something that covers at least everything, every little aspect. Maybe Udemy. Let's check Udemy. Unreal, PCG, Udemy. There are two. One. British PCG. 16. It's always in Udemy. It's always off. It's probably marketing strategy to make them sell more. It's a 1 day left. It's never like that. It's 4.5 stars, which might not be that bad. You put it in percent, it's 90%. Another one, same, 900. This one is more popular. Yeah, can't do that now, but now. Also, repetition helps. Doing that many times, eventually you get better. Which is what I'm doing right now. Okay, so back to it. It is this is not the right one. This is my blueprint, but I keep there with the PCG. Pain in the back. Doesn't want to go away. So let's see. Why adding? Why adding? I shouldn't add. Now it's too complicated. Did I? Sorry. Three just has the. So it's not that. Where is my? Okay. I remove this one. Okay. So the thing I need to ignore last is that I don't need to pick the last. Let's say I'm on the third. Let's say I'm on 2. Get previous ID, yes. Okay, I need. But the thing is, let's try again. Maybe simplifying everything now. When I'm currently in a situation where it's too many things there, and to help when you get stuck like that is to simplify or comment. So this gets the previous index for the height. So this is fine. Get previous index mesh. Control Shift S. Sometimes in PCG the comment won't save. And one way that I look over on internet, and it was a mix of solution. One solution is to the both solution I found that sometimes work is force regen, close them both, and save and close Unreal. Might not always work, but as you can see, if I go, sometimes it doesn't save. As you can see, I have some comment bugs that are not fitting well, and it's very annoying. Okay, so this is resizing, getting the previous height. This is getting the current mesh. Get current mesh from current height loop index. So yes. Next. This one. If the ID is 0, ignore. So this is ignore first index. Here. If what? I'm not in the right one. So B to E to the B. Like that. If it ignores, it doesn't change. But as we can see now, the mess. Not used though. I have a triple mesh now, which is weird because it has to do with the blue lines getting the mesh anyway. So this shouldn't go there because it has to come from logic in here, which might be this one. Wow, no. Just one mesh, that's so weird. Let's close this. This is as the same as if I did this. Let's redo the logic then. So if it's not the first loop, get the mesh, add an index, custom index to them. And if we look at sample this and look at them, wow. Instead of the, it's as if it doesn't do the, oh, not equal. Let's do this. If it's equal, I read it wrong a few minutes ago, so now it's fine. Not equal. Okay. Attribute in, attribute out would be 2. What gets in? Custom index at the end. 0, 1, 2. 0, 1, 2. 0, 1, 2. That's wrong. That's wrong. Why? Let's go back to this one. The target in. So what get into the blue line here is this. I pick up target there. Is everything fine with my everything else? Microphone work. So target in. This is what gets in. Source in. The source are the meshes, either tall, small, or flat. So what it should do is add this column, copying this one to every point. So output, every point gets a new custom with an index, which is wrong. This is wrong. This is wrong because if I go to the target, target input, I don't want to. This is the index of each roof on one level. I don't want to give them different index. I want this index, not this index. So what I want is get. Oop. Not this. Is the input source. Can I get what I want is the get index. I want this. Here. Let's get the source and what if? No, don't open it. Don't do this to me. Can I disable the double click? Please. Okay. Now, the out is but the target in. It gets okay, fine. Loop index, that's the name I'm looking for. So it's error loop index. With the I. Yes, I did sleep. What's wrong with that? It doesn't want my loop index with the I, upper I. Why? There has to be a better way to. Mr. Sammy Boo. So what's up, Sammy? What's new? Is it the new version now? Meh. Meh. No. But what's wrong now? Lamau. Laughing my ass off. Oh damn. What did the Mr. Distraction came up with this time? I don't know. What was the distraction? What did I do? What did I do? I did stream yesterday, the morning and afternoon. It's been I think it. Oh, okay, that's why. Oh, that's why. Damn it. Damn it. Well, Yes, I took a break in the the afternoon. It might become my usual schedule for now, for a while, until I get something else. No, not at all. It's not meant to be done. It's a passion project mixed with the training project. Training and passion. And also Zen mastering. Mastering the Zen in me. So I have all the time in the world to get something done. Like if I want to get this working, I have all the time in the world. At the end, I would understand PCG. Fully understand it. No, I'm not sure, but I hope to. I hope to. Immortal, I don't believe in time restraint. I don't feel like I see an end to it or a beginning to anything. To me, it's as if it was always there. Yeah, exactly. It's like how do we say, a ride? I forget the word. Like what is the ride? Six Flag ride. What do I'm looking for? Roller coaster ride. When you want to get into a roller coaster, that's like that. When you want to die, you go into the dying row, and then you get all the perks of dying. Like a roller coaster. Or going to a movie, or yeah, if you want to get the perks of dying, like going to war, going to a fight in a bar. Okay, let's continue this. Continue. How do I do this? It doesn't get loop index. Why do I need to create a custom one when I have them right there? Since I just need the loop. Attribute select. Get loop index. There. Can't I do an attribute select here? Yes. Now I want the loop index. If I do a sample this one, no, it doesn't want. Needs a data asset line. Error. Attribute property. I think it's last. If I get index, get rid of this shit. Hit. Okay. What is going in override is loop 1 if I'm on loop. Why would I say that? Why me or you should say sugar on iced tea? I like iced tea, but it gets me woken up like crazy because I drink too much liquid. And if you put some tea or coffee in it, I cannot sleep. Yes. Some tea, check the tea in. I don't know how to say that in English. You have caffeine. In French, caffeine. Caffeine. Wait, let's get some distraction going. Caffeine. I think it's caffeine in English. Coffee. Get me the English one, not the French. It's coffee. Coffee. How do you say that? Pronunciation. Caffeine.
Caffeine.
Caffeine. And tein. I remember. Well, you are British. I remember it well. Aren't you British? I don't remember because when you came the first time in there, in my. Okay, where are you from? Because I conflate you with another one. Oh, US. USA. What do you say, teen? Because when you came here the first time, there was another guy just before you, I guess, and he said he was from the UK. Yeah, and Canada too. But it's still Canada is still they still lick the imperial boots. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. In pronunciation. Tain. Teen.
Theine.
Tein. You have to check the T. Tein. In your tea. Tein. Okay, let's continue back to get the attribute. So this is working better than this one. This is SHIT. SHIT. Because now I get the writing. Attribute out on 0. Oh no. Not the right. Should be 1, 2. 1, 2. Did I forget something? In. Out. override. What? Okay, I just lost this. Override is empty. Override is 1. Override is 2. So maybe loop index instead. Of course, yes. Loop index, the uppercase, which does not exist. Why? Why? Attribute out 11. What? It counts the number of object minus, like it takes the last object, but that's not what I want. It takes it. I want the override. I don't want the blue one. I want the loop index. As attribute does not exist. Why they made this so complicated? Why? Okay, maybe another one. Input sources. Source. Sometimes yes, that's true. That's true. I'm making cable management right now. This is cable management. On. That's why. That's why. Nothing in the input source. Override. Why do? Let's read the word. Attribute set containing multiple paragraph to override name must match perfectly. Name must match perfectly. I won't. I really want the name to match perfectly. But you don't give me the occasion to make it match perfectly. Mr. Unreal. I want this loop index. It says it should match perfectly. I copied it and it's still no, and it as if it's because it doesn't find it in there. I want him to find it in the override, not in the input source. Why? I think I need to copy. Maybe. Copy. Attribute. Enforce. Force. Loop index. Both of them. No. I still want it as loop index. Attribute. Select. No. Maybe. Maybe. Nice. Let's see. A. Of course. Of course it doesn't work. What if? What if I put this in? What if? Still not working? What if I don't want to put this in, but whoa. Of course. Why make it complicated when you can make it simple? Like that. Now, it seems to be one. I think I got it. Yes. Yes, sir, Miller. Yes, sir, Miller. Let's delete this. Oh, clapping ends. Oh, a bit clapping. Yes, he's learning. The robot is learning. He's getting intelligence. Intelligent in, intelligent out. Like a garbage, like a poop machine. Learning. Now, I need my points back. There. A poop machine. Where did I? Oh, there. What? This? Only one? Only one row? I lost all the others. What's wrong with you? Maybe not this one. Maybe I still need all of them. Yes, almost there. But I still have the height of a small here. Almost there. Let's delete some SHIT. Why do I get the height of a small one? Let's look at this one. The Z. The ZZ. Not a good word in French. The ZZ. Don't repeat after me. Okay, so small, tall. So the tall is assigned to the last one. Where does it come from? Let's go back in time. Get the mesh. Small, tall. Go back in time again. Here. And if we could look at tall when it should be small. has to do with the index. Small and small. So let's comment this get loop, compare loop, this loop. So yeah, I didn't go further. Let's go continue from there. So we get 1, 2, and this 1, 2 gets in there. If it's equal, wow. Yes, it's equal. What was that? Okay. So what did I want this? Let's restart this part from where I was. So now why it's not connected, but it's still shifting correctly the second mesh, the second index. So this is correctly setting the second index. Got it. But this there, bring it out of the way. Or let's restart from output on the second. And why do I want that? So ignore first. Ignore first. If I ignore first, I want the previous index. Subtract. One. One. The previous index mesh height, which is this, but not that. I don't need this. But X, I get the height of the mesh of, so understand this, that in in the input I got the 3 meshes, different possibilities. Meshes in the input. There. The index, I get the previous index, and depending on the loop, if I'm at the 0, it's skipped. If I'm 2, yes, 1. If I'm 3, it gets 2 in there. Then it gets the mesh out. Because the in is the mesh. So when you want to get an attribute which is one of any of those index, could be something else, but in my case here is meshes that I gather in an array from my blueprint. So it gets the mesh out depending on the input index there. And the mesh out, I want the height. Mesh height. This one I did myself. It's not a node from a big. I get the height. And I want the height to be applied to the current mesh, which is not this one. The current mesh is this one. But it's not to this one. I want to apply the height to the points. The current points. There. Which is grayed out right now. Because I'm on the first loop here. But if I go on the second loop, it's not grayed out. I want to bring this in here. It's almost there, as always. As always. Not like it's going to be different. So it's still the same issue as the above there. Is it the same code? Let's see. If I put this like this, does it look like it? No. It's the different code, but it gives the same result. Why is this giving me the small height as usual? Small high. This should be grayed. Okay, it's grayed out. It shouldn't have a height there, but I cannot gray out this. Except if I do maybe a branch, the same branch one, but for attribute, maybe. Can it be that way? Grayed out should fade out like this. Doesn't work. Does it? Yes. Now it's grayed out, but not here because there is a get loop. And small, well, when it should be the opposite. So it's as if it still takes the first loop height. Oh, there was a guy named Arudev who joined and left. I don't know if he's still there or might not be. I wonder. Yeah, probably. He just saw and it's cable management. It reminded him of network cable management work. I wouldn't like to do this cable management stuff. Where's my Chrome Explorer? So for the distraction, Chrome. Cable management, network, cable management. Yes, some good meme of cable management. Nobody got time for that. Yeah, so you see nature as is like PCG, cable management. But when you work in IT, you're going against nature. Except if you work like that. Now you're going with nature. It's jungle stuff. You might get some tiger and snake and big spiders. Damn it. That's why people get intimidated when they get into my stream and seeing all the cables management. Okay, so it doesn't instead of skipping the first one, seems to bring the height. Maybe it's because of this get loop. Bring the height. Let's try the get loop then. Need this one here. Need the what? No, I don't need this. Need the get loop in here. I need the condition, and then I can see here is A to the B. But if it's not in, it got getting the small once. Maybe I should give it 2 times. Oh, I see. Is that so? I need to give all the height. I should. The last one should have the height of both of them. I think. Should it? Let's bring the tall roof. Our roof is on fire. We don't know what. No. Is it? There's a little gap. At the little gap here. It like that. Oh, it fits. So it's the height of the tall one, but it should have said the height of the small, the first story, plus the height of the second story. That's what's missing. Multiplying. But this might be useless. I get the same thing if I don't plug it. That like that be the same. So how do I add up the height from the not just the previous, but also all of the below? That's complicated. So this should be not only the last. Go back to this. I don't need this. Okay, so how do I get not just the last one, the previous one, but also any below? That's complicated because now if I do it like manually, or how do we say, hard coded, do like an addition of them. But this is hard coded. I cannot know how many stories there can be. I cannot hardcore code every story. Like that would be -2. Oh. 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 Yeah. Of course, there's a limit to my number of roof stories, but I want to do it as if there was none. Which is wrong, might be wrong. So what would be, let's bring the paper. Well, what I want is to take or you just have to wait when the computer gets better. Like my game can run on 2030 computers, but they are not out yet. Computers that will be made by ChatGPT in the future. Vibe coded, vibe. Mine requires like factories that are made by ChatGPT. Like all the workers, the constructor, the building is made by architects that use ChatGPT, and the CPU manufacturer use ChatGPT to make the CPU. Everything is vibe coded. The old computer was a technology was vibe coded. Even the construction of the building, of the factory. So when I'm at the last one, what is the algorithm to? So we get the computer in our brain. So you can install Unreal in your brain. Install PCG. ChatGPT install PCG in my brain. Right away. I know Kung Fu. Whoa. Whoa. I know Kung Fu. It would be not only had, like you would get something like let's say you get this.
Ce que personne vous dit sur les tampons, c'est qu'il faut changer de taille pour s'adapter à son désir.
So ChatGPT will constantly put this in your brain. Just kidding. Or else Just like that.
I know Kung Fu.
Show me.
I know Kung Fu. I'm grabbing the next lobotomy ready spoon. A spoonful of brain stuff that you don't need. And you say, take it from me, ChatGPT. Eat it. Eat my spoonful of useless brain stuff. Eat it. What is this? Get loop. Get loop. I cannot do this. Get loop. I need to add up the loop so it will 0 index. Get the height of this one. Get the height of this one. Get the height of this one. And addition. I need a variable that gets all of them every time it loops in the variable. I don't know if I can do this in PCG. I don't know, but let's try. Let's try this. Let's ask Perplexity AI if I can do this. AI Unreal PCG 5.5 PCG. Yeah, how to get a variable in a loop that gather value every headers. Gathers additional value every loop. Spoon for thoughts, spoon for food. Use a variable loop node in your PCG. Right click variable loop. Variable doesn't exist. It doesn't exist. Loop? No. What is that?
Since I started.
What? Of course AI is hallucinating. There's like between 5 to 20% of hallucination in most AI.
To use custom nodes in PCG, one of the banes of my process has been why exactly when I update a PCG graph, it doesn't automatically update in the environment. As you can see here, I am updating it. I'm changing the variables. It does get propagated in that detail panel, as you can see.
I've seen this video. I don't think it will give me the answer. I will say to this hallucination, there is no variable loop in PCG Unreal 5.5. What else? Please, master. Please master always work. You can put please master race. Master race or master dominator for each loop. I don't want to control this. I want a variable. What is this? I cannot call AI on is bullshit. It gives me some force sensor. The variable node. What? What? It does not exist. I cannot insult. Exists master dominator. Yeah, AI is going to kill me. You are correct. There is no variable node. Okay, now he's fine. I call it master dominator. Is abdicating I don't know. Abdicating. Yes, calling in master dominator works. The official documentation and node reference do not list variable node as support of variable control flow or variable management node. Some community tutorial of you may mention variable loop in a conceptual sense, but this is not a built-in node. What actually exists for loop? I don't know what. I want to know. I want to know how to make a variable loop. Please, master AI. Master AI, the best race there is. How to use array loop for each. No, we're not the police. No, the police. No, la policía. Is it the? Oh, damn it! Loud. Is this? No. La policía.
La policía, no.
No, la policía. Adding attribute to point. While there's no single variable node, you can accumulate update variable in PCB looping over array. I think I need to create outside the loop the variable, but I'm not sure. Should you go with it to go with your solution? Should I create an attribute outside the loop and then use input it in an argument inside my group. Yes, yes. Your understanding is correct, little poor human. To simulator, yeah. Inferior human. Inferior human. Okay, let's create a variable outside. Create attribute. Create attribute. Sum of all. Float. Name sum of all mistakes. Sum of all height. Sum of all height. This is sad news. Made me think of Final Fantasy. That's why I picked this music. Okay, let's put some argument. Some of height. Normal attribute set. Now adding to this, let's remove this. Oops, I said the word. I've said SHIT. And then we'll add up. Add the value in there. But it does not. Import it. Output. Building. Should add. It should add every time. Oh, thank you, Elara Lewis. Thank you very much. Hello. Fine, and you, Elara. Oh no, I've seen it. Yesterday you came in. You shown your artwork, which was the same as last time. Elara Lewis. I've seen your artwork. I've already seen your artwork yesterday. What? This is your artwork, Mr. Elara, Madam Mrs. Larissa Weiser. and you came way back then as Ogwad graphics, and it's the same graphic. Do you want to showcase your stuff again? She doesn't, and she said the exact same word, so I will block the word she used, like headphones. Problem with my headphones. I hope no one else does tell me that, because they will be blocked. I will leave it. I won't block it. I don't care. It's not problematic. Okay, now fire doesn't add up. Do I need it to loop? Do I need this to be a loop? Wow, it broke. Data to loop on doesn't have the same number of entry for all pins. Damn it. Normal. Advance. Require advance. Allow multiple data. Oh. Lamau. Super Lamau. It doesn't add the value. Do I need to make a feedback thing? The feedback. Last. Index to index. Okay. So this won't do a sum. If I pick the A, it's always 0. Oh, no. A is 0. Okay. Maybe the variable needs to be inside loop, or won't work neither. Cannot work. Ask perplexity. Do I need to? I need a special argument to make it grow in value inside the loop, like feedback argument. Or let's try this then.
Hello everybody, today I'll show you how you can mimic the for each whoop from blueprints inside the PCG whoops. This will help you add objects.
Damn it. Where's my browser? For live stream. I can...
C'est quoi exactement ça?
Oh, c'est quoi exactement? What it is exactly. That's what he said. With the thick French Canadian accent. Lara left.
Example, if you create some road that you want to place objects alongside, you can have unlimited number of different objects that you want to place. For example, white poles or road signs.
Last time you said last time there was someone like that, the same one, I think. And you said they were a scam or something, and now I'm starting to believe you.
Or benches or
why did she did? Oh, okay. Oh, okay. Because she came, as you've seen on my Discord. When I first started my stream, I got this awkward graphic board. She gave me those pictures. I'm pretty sure that if I let Elara, she would have gave this. Did they send you the same picture as me? Like those one? Those overlay. Okay. Because she came back yesterday or the day before and she gave the same. And I said, but you already gave me this. And she said, Awkward is my studio. Why came with another name? Damn it. And she used the same word as Elara today. So Elara is like her brain like wiped out her memory, and she's okay. So it's not like the same person or but with showing the same art.
electrical.
I want to know what is this.
Performing on the biggest stage.
No. So when there's an ad, I say check my factor for US citizen 50% off. On my screen there, you see the coupon code for anyone watching this later on YouTube. There is the link in the description.
Now, despite the name, grammar isn't something to do with the English language where you write essays down to PCG. What it is, it's basically a very simple.
Damn it. Yes, but this one I get the money from like YouTube ads. It doesn't work ad blocks. Don't know why. Whoa there. Like can you read? I'm not sure about that. Because they are paid by YouTube to not block some. Right now it's not blocking anything. Anyway. Google doesn't care. More billion? What is this number? A more $1 billion is like morbid. The amount of money. Morbid about amount of money.
Syntax language that allows you to put symbols and words together to create what you need. So in this video, I'm going to be going through the sample project and then going over how everything's set up, why it is that way, and kind of...
Damn, and now you have to work for Mother Russia for the rest of your life and more. They keep you alive just so you work for them. They reverse aging you for more years to come. They reverse engineer your body. Reverse age.
Makes it a little more digestible so you guys can get started using grammar for yourselves. Let's get right into it. If you're a brand new project, you're going to need to go to Edit Plugins, search Procedural, and make sure your Procedural Content Generation Framework PCG.
Oh damn it! Then that would be hard. But digitized in the sense that they just copy your yourself and they don't care about the. Oh. So like currently Zuckerberg is cloning us, and later on Facebook will be full of fake accounts of dead people still running, and you will chat with someone and knowing later that they died 10 years ago, but it's the bot, the AI. Like the internet theory. Like everyone is almost on internet. Everyone is dead and is run by fake AI accounts. The dead internet theory. So when I go in Facebook group, it's all AI chatting with each other. It's only AI just scrambling words. They don't even know what they mean. But to me, it makes sense. Probably, it's possible. We are just prompt. We are just the result of prompt. Haley hyperspin. Yeah, we are just the universe was made from a prompt, so that cannot be far from the truth. Like, what is the initial thing? Whatever it is, it's similar to a prompt. It's like a domino. The first domino you hit in a domino chain. It's similar to a prompt. Yes.
It's turned on and restart your engine as needed. Once you have restarted, we need to go to the sample.
I will take a little fast break for getting some glasses. I will not put the breakout room, so I will be back. It's not a real break, it's just getting some glasses in my glass. Some ice. ice cube in my glass. Yes, I'm going back. I will take my cup of coffee back. He took over my channel was while I was gone. Big internet let me come back, so you didn't take over my channel. Oof. Phew. Oh no. They cloned me real fast. You already did. You already did. That's why you asked.
Project. Now, the easiest way to do it is to hit this search button right here and then search for PCG. This will bring up the Procedural Content Generation Framework PCG in your engine and plugin content. Now, if you don't see this, here in the top right under settings, make sure you have engine and plugin content turned on. Assuming you do, you should see your Procedural Conjuration Framework PCG folder here, and then down below there is sample content. In the sample content, we want to go inside of grammar, and then we will see this grammar sample level that we can go ahead and open up. And this is the sample level that comes with 5.5 to give us a better understanding of actual grammar. Now, we'll be going over these 4 right here. This last one, as you see by the name, is experimental, and honestly, it deserves a video all on its own, as it introduces grammar combined with geometry script. We'll go ahead and go over the basics of these 3, then we'll cover the more advanced building generation here. So let's start with a spline slicer. As it says, useful to sample points along the spline with a very simple logic like door green with 2 modules C on both sides, and then fill the module fence red, which is what we see. We have the green door, the 2 modules to the sides, and everything else is a fence. And one thing you might notice is also in the exact middle of the spline. If I select the spline and just go ahead and move it somewhere else, it'll just adjust itself away from this point, because this is the starting and end point. And the way I know this is the starting and end point is with this spline point selected. In the detail panel here, we can say select spline points, and if I click this button, select the first spline point, it selects this one. If I select something else and select the first one, it is this one. So that means that is the loop all around, and you can see that this always is in the middle of this spline. Now, how is this set up? Let's go to the PCG component in the detail panel, and let's open up the PCG graph to take a look. Right away, one thing you might notice is this is actually surprisingly very simple to do. So we're getting the spline data, as we would normally do, and then we're adding an attribute called grammar. Now, what is this attribute? So if you click anywhere else, or select graph settings up top, you get access to parameters. Here you can see we have a variable called grammar. If I open it, you can see it is a type string. So that's all the grammar is. It is just a string. And here we are specified the string for this grammar. So we're taking the grammar and we're adding it to the information of the string. Then we're using a subdivide spline to break it up. Now the subdivide spline node is something new in grammar now. What it takes is the actual spline information. And you can see in the detail panel, it has a module height. So we're setting it to be 100 units tall instead of the very thin spline that it was before. And then it has module information. So here, if I go ahead and open these up, you can see here's the fence of a size 100. There's a door of a size 300. And here's C, size 50. So if you're wondering how is it that those different pieces are different lengths, this is where it's set. So this symbol we understand from grammar. And the reason we understand it from grammar is because down below here, we use grammar's attribute turned on. Now to make sure that we have more information, there is this extra output attribute. So if I open it up, you can see we have the symbol attribute name being symbol, the size attribute name being size, scalable attribute name being scalable, and the debug color attribute name being the debug color. Because we do have the debug colors here, you can see it is set to be red for the fences, green for the doors, and blue for C. And we go ahead and save that information and output it. So in a way, this already just splits up a spline into different side segments as well. If you wanted points to be specific sizes, and let's say you want a really long point and a really short point, a really long point and a really short point, one after the other, you could do that with grammar as you see here. Modifying the bounds, that gets us the little gaps in between here. And then for our own sake for the demo, they are taking the debug color and assigning it to the color and then debugging it. And that gets us the red, blue, and green here. So it makes sense how this is set up, but what does the grammar actually do? How does it work? So this is the grammar string that is there. Now, it might look intimidating first, but it's actually relatively simple. You can see the main things are in brackets here. C, fence, and door are all in these square brackets. And when you're using the square brackets in grammar, what that means is that is a sequence. So if you can have multiple things here, like I could put, say, fence, comma, door, and that will be then you'll spawn a fence and then we'll spawn a door specifically in that sequence when you use the square brackets. So in this case, it says, hey, spawn a fence, and then it has this asterisk. The asterisk basically says spawn as many fences as you can, whether it's 0 if you can't spawn any, or 1,000 if you can spawn more of them. Just continue to spawn them until you can't anymore. Then it says, okay, but make sure you can still spawn C twice. So it wants to spawn this sequence specifically 2 times, and then it wants to spawn a door, and then C twice again. And after that, again, put fences as many times as
okay.
So what ends up happening is this part here, we always want this. This will always happen. And we want fences to basically be at the start and end. Now, what this means is this will be in the middle.
I want to
of
see
our
the
spline, because
house.
let's get back to it. Now let's go ahead and look at this more complicated building blueprint. Now, just like the other one, this is all based off of spline. As it says, it first uses the spline to generate a few floors, then for each floor, use some shape grammar to assign meshes. And with it selected, if I scroll down to PCG, you can see we have a few parameters here. We can debug the floors, debug the modules. We can also tell it to just not spawn meshes if we don't want to turn that off entirely. We also have the ability to change the building height. It's set to be, let's say, 1500. It'll spawn another floor. It's set to be 1000. It'll be less floors. But note that the sizes of these does not shrink and grow. The height of these modules is set in stone. So if I set this to be, let's say, 1050, we got an extra floor, but at 1060, nothing has changed. 1100, nothing has changed. Because based on the size of these modules, we cannot fit another one, and so it does not spawn anymore, despite our building height being higher. Then we have the module information, which if I open it up, we can see, well, C here is 100 units. Here's the debug color. Then we have W, W1, and W2. Now, when looking at it from outside, the letters might not mean much, and really they don't need to be just letters or random words. You can make them, as the ones before, name specifically what it is. You can call it a door, a window, etc.
I don't like letters.
Like, oh my goodness, how am I
It
gonna
means
remember
nothing.
what is C, what is
Like
W?
in
It was just
Shader.
for this demonstration using those, but that doesn't mean you have to do it that way as well. But if we want to, we can overwrite it here. And the last one is the mesh info, where we have an array of meshes here. So this is all great and all, but how is this set up? Well, if we go ahead and open up the graph, we get access to the full graph. And let's start at the beginning. So at the very beginning here, we have the spline data, and we're adding the building height as one of the attributes, and the attribute is called extrude vector. Now down below, we have a check. And basically this is there, so if you want to have it be as part of a full graph, and it has an input node, and you plug something into that input, like a spline from somewhere else, it will use that instead. So it will check, does it have any data information? And if it does, if it's even has a single point, it has something, it'll be greater than 0, and so it will go ahead and use the input. Otherwise, in this demo, it goes ahead and uses this information here. After that, we go ahead and add an attribute. The output target is called grammar, the type is string, and the string value you see is main floor in brackets, intermediate asterisk, which is this right here. Now, as we've learned before, that means this is a sequence node. It will do this first, and then it will do this, and it will repeat intermediate as many times as it likes. And we can see that in this building. This first floor is different than all the floors after it. Now to show you what happens, what if we wanted to...
It says some left. Damn.
Boxes or something like this. And later, if you want to add another object, you don't need to change your PCG graph, you just need to add an object to the array, and the whoop will add everything. So let me remind you how
the sound is bugging. I have some glitches in my sound. Maybe I don't have enough battery left.
Blueprint for each whoop looks like. So I have...
Yeah, I will restart this. Restart my sound.
Have here some simple logic that in my blueprint construction script I'm just creating a box.
I already seen that.
And I'm placing it on the place of the blueprint into the level. So if I change the type of the variable for the box from just a single variable type to an array, let's accept the change into the other PCG graph that we created. It's currently empty, and if you remember into our loop example, what we are doing is we are taking this boxes variable. Just make sure it's a static mesh type, it's an array type. Instead of single here, it should be an array. And you have this icon here, or this instance editable.
I think I know now.
Here.
I need to do another.
This means that inside
another loop inside my loop. Instead of this variable for each. A double loop. I don't like it, but let's do this. Since it's not a large number, it won't be a big O. The big O of 2 won't be problematic. So I need to create a subgraph loop. And Unreal is like that. You cannot right click and you are in a list. That's fun. Fun, real fun. PCG. Get previous height. Previous. Issues. And just like the other, I need a loop. Oh, if I can use this input. And the index, and it would be attribute set. Get the index, index. I think I would loop over the Meshes. I need the meshes. So I will skip the first one just like this. I think therefore I am. What I want at the end is the sum of this, right? And it would be an attribute. That from the meshes. I want to ignore the first one. I have a hard time to imagine now lately too much. How do I do a for each in PCG? Oh, do for the array per number. You can generate. You need an array of number. You can generate this array outside the PCG graph. Okay, I did this. Pass the array into a PCG subgraph. Use the array as input to the PCG my mesh. As a act as your loop buddy executing. Use the subgraph loop buddy inside the subgraph. Use the current array element, the integer, as your loop x. Perform your decided logic. Collect result. Step 1. Create an integer array. Subgraph for each element. Inside the subgraph, use the current integer for your logic. It leads me back to this guy. Gérer les finances. Gérer les managing finances of an enterprise. That's what she. Start this guy to PCG. I want to see. I won't skip this time. I will look at it.
Whoop example. What we are doing is we are taking this boxes variable.
It's not in PCG.
Just make sure it's warning and error messages here will disappear. If you have an error in the name, you have an error as well that you don't have such property. So make sure it's written the same way. So right now, the name of the variable is fine, so we can continue with this. So what we have done into our blueprint before is we have taken the position of our actor with this get actor location. We'll do the same into our PCG graph here. So right click, get actor data, and this get actor data will be with the mode set to get single point. This will create a point at the place that we have put our blueprint. So what we need to do with this boxes property? In order to use our PCG loop, let's drag the loop inside here. We'll select this other PCG graph, drag it here, and choose to make a loop node. Because if you choose subgraph node, it will be executed just once. This loop node is executed multiple times. Right now, I have created a loop here. It says a loop below the name of my subgraph, so you know that it's the right way that you need it. So for this, we need the data to be into different sets. If I mark this actor property boxes, if panel, variables that we have in a single, and if we partition by partition, single value. If we do an attribute partition, and if we partition by the index value, so open this. If we click the A key now on this attribute partition, we'll have the same 5 elements, but they will be split into 5 different sets. This is very important in order to have this PCG loop working. So it will work on each different set, not on each different element into a single set. So make sure that you are using an attribute partition to split this into different sets. And let's select this boxes get actor property and change the output attribute name to mesh, because as you remember, in the static mesh spawner we have created the static mesh spawner with an attribute name of mesh for the static mesh that it wants to spawn.
Let's do this then. Meshes, and then we need to make a partition. and I need the index. Now it split them as seen. It should. So I have loops. This is the in. This is the in, the out. They are split in there. The thing is, I'm not sure. Because now, yeah, I will still do it.
So right now, let's copy the position of our blueprint into each of these static mesh values. So let's do a copy attribute. The target will be our attribute partition sets, and the source will be our actor data. What we'll copy is the position, and we'll copy it, actually the full transform. We'll copy the transform from the actor data into the transform of the points. You have a warning because this is just a single attribute. It doesn't have a position value. So let's convert this from attribute set to point, and let's disconnect the old connection and connect the new one. Right now this error has disappeared. And if I click the A key here into the copy attributes, you have a point with the exact position of our blueprint, and at the end we'll have a mesh variable for the mesh that we entered into our array. And I'll have 5 different sets with this kind of data. If I connect now this to our PCG loop, let's save this. And right now, when my graph updates into the level, you'll see that it works exactly like before. So if I delete some element from here, it will be deleted from the scene. If I add some elements, array, like for example, target will be our split this into different sets. Same, you have an error as blueprint. Loop node is executed mode. We'll select this, will create a point at the place that will show you what we are doing, but it's not connected, so it's not doing anything. Let's compile and now use to connect of this search for the blueprints. Let's go back to new transform. Limit how much in the static measure, how the
It doesn't
blueprint
show what this is PCG loop. Let's start with that then. That's it. What do I get in? Nothing. 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 Maybe I could this one. Oh, it works now. It loops. First loop gets this. Okay, I'm getting there. So first loop needs to be grayed out like that. Second loop. The second loop is this one. It only needs the height of the one below. So it shouldn't be grayed out. Equals to 0. If not, it should be there. Maybe I need to bring this in. Just like that. But now both are not grayed out. What's wrong? What if it's this one instead? Okay. Better. Okay. Now, if it's the second, I need the first. Which, if I look at it, small. So he is great. 2 needs the height. Output A only outputs this. Man. No. I think it would be rather, yeah, probably more like this. So I have the 3 loop. And if I'm on this one, B out 2, B out 1, B out 0, which is what I want. But this is not what I want. This is what I want. Now, yes. From this, I skip the first, and now I start calculating the height of the first and the second. If I'm the third one, I need to calculate the first, the second. If I'm the second, if I'm etc. So current index is needed, I think. What is A in the last loop? In the last loop, A is 2. So I get 2. The mesh error index. If I do this, output in the first loop, I get nothing because it's the first. The second, what is grayed out is the meshes. Oh, okay, so I get this. The first loop should be grayed out. It is. But at the same time, in the second loop, I would like, I left out because the index is 2, 1. And the last one it was 2. So out I get the other one, which is small. This one I get tall. But I want, if I was there, I would want 4 each. So this can be outside. Output A. Let's go back to this. If I take this, instead I do this. I can put this out too. Instead of mesh. Damn, that's gonna It's not like a for each in C++ or C# or Blueprint. what I want to do is I got the array of meshes. Which have the 3 meshes inside it. Small, small. What I want to do is that when I get to the last, whether it's this one, get index will give me this. Get loop. Get loop index value. For each of them. For each index value, get index. For each get index, I want to get previous. I want to do this. So just like that, I loop over. I do this here. I getting this and skipping the first one because it doesn't need any. I loop over, and inside I should do this, which is no, it's not complete. What do I do with this? I add. I don't do apply. I just do this one. Oh, with an S here. Indexes, heights. How do I do that? It's not like they have the same height, so I cannot. Okay, it will loop over those value, and every time it loops, I get the height there. Get the height here. Okay. Let's start by doing this. But mesh is not plugged in. Let's plug meshes. So every loop would have the different mesh height. it will add up to this one, sum of 8 heights. Sum of height, I can bring it in. I will remove it there. Let's put it in current index for now. Add. Let's check this. Okay. And almost there. Except it doesn't do on the right one. Doesn't the right height. The right one. Let's just change the name. Yeah, of course. So let's see. Oh no, don't do this to me. So the mesh are not the right, but let's see if first thing first, is it associated with the right mesh? So this one 900, which is fine. Okay. So this one gets higher than this one. Why is this one getting a higher value? The value, I guess they swap the value. Because of the first one that is skipped. Just as usual. $345. $345. What if I only set the index loop here? Same thing. What if what I add is what if okay. It's in there. Let's see the sum. I don't feel like it's making a sum. Because 345 here. It's not a sum. Okay, I know. I should make use of parent index, which wouldn't be a loop. The loop will be cut. Not working. Or it's this one. Loop index rather. Nope. That way it has the second as the right height now. But the third doesn't. Third does. Oh my god, it's scratching the door. Been a couple of times now that I open the door. It's not my cat, it's someone, a neighbor sound. So where the small come from? It doesn't add up the result. Here. What is a 0 B? So the sum does not add up. Do I have to do a feedback thing? If I look at when using a loop subgraph node, we'll pass data on the feedback pin to the next iteration only if the data is passed from previous iteration original first. Is that so? Let's add the feedback here. And instead of some, I would do that. Does not work. What does it do? No output in A. No. It's grayed out. Okay. Feedback. I've seen someone using it, but they didn't plug anything. It. All gray. Okay. Feedback. New pin. Nothing. Maybe I need to put the sum here. Oh. Came out with something. A 0 in the last one. 0, so it does not work. Also, can I? They are the same node. Don't. What was that song? Maybe it was a email thing. Come on. Not the email. Okay. Back pain. Go away. So it adds something there. That's in the A. So what's in the A? Why does it add something? Because it's plugged, so it's okay. What if I use this working? A no value split of A. But this sum is empty. New pin is not. Sum is empty. New pin not. So new pin sum is useless. A 0. New pin. New pin. Okay. If I remove this, it's down. So it's as if it's somewhat working. But it is not. Maybe I should put the previous mesh in there. But that would only do like, that would only calculate. It did. Okay, I will copy something that was done with the walls, because this was done in the wall. This was done in the wall. It's similar to this. Gets the number of story -1. But this is the loop. The loop occurs in the spline. Oh man. That's not. Because you can do it if all of them are the same size. It's easy to do, but when they are different size, I only need to be able to add them up. I need the number of sorry. -1. No, it's not that. Because I'm not at the last, always at the last story. I'm at the last constructed story. So the issue is really this, that it doesn't add height. Let's say I have 4 instead. Four. And let's add a 4th one in there. Small. Oh, none. It adds up to none. So now they all are at the second story, and they get stuck there because it doesn't add up. They are stuck with the 157. If I remove this, they fall down. Same. Oh. New pin would be same. Just the same as this. What if feedback. Why it doesn't work? Why? Let's see how to use feedback there. And I will go after that for a walk or something.
Loops in PCG are quite important to actually accomplishing many things, but one aspect of them, the feedback part of it, can be quite confusing. Unlike regular blueprint loops, they work a little bit differently. So let me explain exactly how they work and how to set up a few different scenarios, including a simple for each loop with break, so you can stop a loop in the middle of whenever you need to, as well as being able to use a feedback loop to kind of send information and compile information on each pass to get an exponential result because of it. So with that, we get right into it. To get started, make sure you have PC turned on. If you go to edit plugins, search for PCG, and make sure your procedural continuation framework is turned on, and if you need to, restart your engine. Once you've restarted, we can go ahead.
Yes, that's it. Don't stop on me like that.
And create our PCG graph. So go ahead and right click, grab your PCG graph from your PCG section, and this is just going to be our.
Don't stop on me like that. Yeah, so when it's stuff like that, you take your phone out and you do some fun stuff.
Our PCG base graph, and immediately I'm just going to duplicate it and create one more graph, and this is going.
Just wait until it loads everything.
Going to be our loop graph, so it's going to be our PCG for each with break. This is going to be our two graphs we're going to be using for this setup. Take this PCG base graph, I'll drag it out here so we have something in the world. And we can use this volume as our base. Let's open it up. To move the output out of the way, we're going to use the in. We're going to take the in and grab ourselves a volume sampler, and this is we're set to be something like 500.
What is going on?
$500 for the voxel size. This gets me 400 points in the default volume. This is all
Yeah.
fully dense. Make it a little easier for us to see it. I'm going to use an extends modifier, and I'm going to set the extents modifier to multiply and the extents to 0.5 on all three axes. And now if I go ahead and sample this with a D key, you can see we now have a much easier time seeing the individual cubes that it outputs. So now how do we do a for each loop with break? Basically, we set up a regular loop and then implement the feedback mechanic. So for that, I'll go ahead and open this PCG loop with break that I created. For the input, I have a simple point loop that is set to required, and our output has just a point normal set to pin status normal. But this doesn't have our loop actually. So if I go ahead and just pipe that all the way through, we can start using this just to see that the points are going through and everything's fine. Back in our base graph, what we need to use is a attribute partition because we want to partition all the points and split it up so it actually does all of them in the loop. We're going to partition them by index so it does every single one as it goes through. Then I'm going to right click and search for loop, and I'll pipe in our loop that we have created right in here and plug that all the way through. And at the end here, I'll drag out and just search for debug, and that just goes ahead and debugs the points that are coming out at the end. And we take a look, you can see we have all of our points making it all the way to the end. Now let's say we want to keep a certain amount. So we want to go through the entire loop, but when a certain condition is met, we stop. In this case, I'm going to set it up where it's
okay, now internet unlocked.
Stop. Don't do anything after that. Pretty much the first 100 points, do the loop as you would. So in our for each loop section, we need something else on the input and output, and that's the feedback. So I'm going to add a new pin. The usage will be set to feedback, and the allowed type will be set to attribute set. And I'll change the pin status to required. Now this is important. The label here matters. So where normally you can just call it whatever you want. You can leave like in 1, in 2. In feedback, it actually matters what you call the label because the input and the output both need feedback, and they both need to be called the same thing. So to make it easy, I'm going to call the label
to
feedback.
make it
But here,
back
so something in the
there.
world, and we can use this volume as our base. Let's open it up. So remove the output out of the way. We're going to use the in. We're going to take the in and grab ourselves a volume sampler. And this is we're set it to be something like 500, 500, 500 for the voxel size. This gets me 400 points in the default volume. It's all fully dense. To make it a little easier for us to see it, I'm going to use an extents modifier, and I'm going to set the extents modifier to multiply and the extents to 0.5 on all three axes. And now if I go ahead and sample this with a D key, you can see we now have a much easier time seeing the individual cubes that it outputs. So now how do we do a for each loop with break? Basically, we set up a regular loop and then implement the feedback mechanic. So for that, I'll go ahead and open this PCG loop with break that I created. For the input, I have a simple point loop that is set to required, and our output has just a point normal set to pin status normal. But this doesn't have our loop actually. So if I go ahead and just pipe that all the way through, we can start using this just to see that the points are going through and everything's fine. Back in our base graph, what we need to use is a attribute partition because we want to partition all the points and split it up so it actually does all of them in the loop. We're going to partition them by index so it does every single one as it goes through. Then I'm going to right click and search for loop, and I'll pipe in our loop that we have created right in here and plug that all the way through. And at the end here, I'll drag out and just search for debug, and that just goes ahead and debugs the points that are coming out at the end. And we take a look, you can see we have all of our points making it all the way to the end. But now let's say we want to keep a certain amount of them. So we want to go through the entire loop, but when a certain condition is met, we stop. In this case, I'm going to set it up where it's basically the index. When the index, let's say, hits 100, stop. Don't do anything after that. Pretty much the first 100 points, do the loop as you would. So in our for each loop section, we need something else on the input and output, and that's the feedback. So I'm going to add a new pin. The usage will be set to feedback, and the allowed type will be set to attribute set. And I'll change the pin status to required. Now this is important. The label here matters. So where normally you can just call it whatever you want. You can leave like in 1, in 2. In feedback, it actually matters what you call the label because the input and the output both need a feedback, and they both need to be called the same thing. So to make it easy, I'm going to call the label feedback. So it's going to be a label feedback, usage feedback, of attribute set that are required, and then for the output, I'll add a new output pin, call it the same thing, feedback, of type feedback, allowed type attribute set to normal. So great. So now this is working, and we come out here, it is disabled the loop because we have nothing piped into the feedback. So I'll go ahead and use a create attribute here, and I'll pipe something in, just a value of 0. Now originally I tried to set this up with a boolean, so that way I can set it to be false or true depending on the condition. But for some reason I cannot set a boolean attribute, but I can modify a number which effectively gets the same result, 0 being false and 1 being true. So in this scenario, we're starting out with 0 being false as our default. So over here, what we can do is search for a branch node, open it up, and we're going to pipe in our endpoints into this branch, and out A will go into our output, and the feedback is going to go to output to B. So as long as it is false, it will continue doing A. And you can see that we have all our points here, and if I change this number here to 1, the first point has disappeared. Well, that's odd. Why is only the first point disappear? Why haven't all of them disappeared? Well, that's how feedback loops work. We have nothing piped in here. So it's not actually taking what's piped in, it's taking what's piped out. The way it works is the first thing it does grabs from here, and every index afterwards it grabs it from here, but we have nothing piped in here, and it defaults it to false, so it goes into output A and outputs as normal because we have nothing piped in. If I go ahead and use a create attribute here, and I change this to 1 as well, then our entire thing has disappeared because the first one gets our information from here, and every loop after that gets the information from this because that's what we're passing through on loop 2. It goes all the way through, takes the feedback, puts it through. Imagine just a loop that just goes from this feedback loop back around and into the start one on every single iteration. So great. So
That's
how do we
what I
control it
thought.
for each loop knowing this? Well, to do that, I'm going to use a get loop index to find out what our index is. And using the get loop index, I'm going to check if it is equal to a certain index. So using a create attribute again, I'll set something like 10 and plug this in. Now keep in mind that this is not 10 objects, this is 11 because the loop starts at 0, not at 1. So if you wanted to specifically specify an exact number here, you would need to do the number minus 1. So now that we have the condition, we can select based on the condition. And we can do that using a simple select node. Now keep in mind that if you were to drag out of this feedback node and then search for select and use that, it'll get you this conversion because at the current moment this is a wildcard, so it's converted wildcard attribute. So don't drag out of it, or if you do, just detach it and then use this. We don't need the conversion because once it realizes what type it is going to be just fine. So we're going to select it based off of this equal sign. So if it is equal to the loop index that we want, then we're going to be using B. And when we do that, we want to use a create attribute. We want to set the value to be true. So we're going to set it to be 1. We're going to pipe it into B. So as soon as it's allowed to, it will pipe into B. Otherwise, we can go ahead and just reuse what we had before. We can just take the feedback loop and pipe it in, and then we take this and pipe it into our feedback out. So it's going to take our original value of 0. It's going to check, hey, is the loop index equal to 10? No, go ahead and just pass that 0 along. If it is, pass it to 1. And eventually, once it gets to this to being true, it will set it to be 1. And then it'll come here and say, hey, is it equal to 1? No? Well, that's fine. Pass it through, but it's already been set to 1. Now you can do this in a few different ways, right? But you can see kind of how this is set up. So back in our graph, I'm going to make sure
doesn't change.
And if we look at our debug points, you can see that we now have 11 points right here in
It
the
doesn't change what I was doing. It doesn't change what I was doing. because I already used it back. It should work, but it doesn't. Like the in A should change. And it shouldn't be the same in B. So in B is not good neither. Why? Let's why. Mesh. The last one is not long square. It's supposed to be the floor. Why is the last one not the right one? The index 0. So it gets the index of this. Oh no, it's the get loop index 0. 0. That's why. Let's get 2. It's better, but as you can see, the last floor is there. So it should be -1. Or something like that. Still the last one is down. Size are off. Let's see the indexes. In what? Okay, yeah, of course. So the flat is there. Okay, index 0. Index 1. Index 2. I'm not sure about that. It's more like it. More like this one, except that the last one should be higher up. And it's not higher up because, as we can see in the last loop, it gets smaller roof height. Damn, it's complicated. I will continue this tomorrow. A bit of rest for the brain. But I'm getting slowly there. It's been the 4th day, but I want to do it until I get it. I want to work on it diligently. Even though it's not productive efficient. Like in real life, in a real project situation where you have ultimatum, you would need to find a fast solution. But I don't want the fast solution, because that's one of the issues in the current era, is that we want things fast, and we make cheap stuff that large quantity without quality. I want to do the opposite. I want to do, when you have, for like in history, you look at history, when something was well done in history, it wasn't fast, wasn't something made fast. And today we think only of what I can have now in my life, not what a future generation can have. You want to have it right now for us, not anyone else. And that's why I slow it down. Make better things. Not just for... I want to move this up a before going away. So that would be it for today. I will come back tonight afternoon for the drawing. So thank you for watching, and run the outro. Bye. See you in about 2 to 4 hours. So let's go.